like lukewarm. Maybe Oriana, but I don't know. I don't know, Infinity.
Yeah, same here. I don't even know what's gonna happen because I think it's a lot of pressure coming to the side of Bigetron, and alongside with it, of course, one more win coming to the side of Sengoku Gaming is gonna put them at a bigger advantage later on for the quarterfinals, right? So a lot on the line, D2.
For sure. We have multiple members kind of congregating here over in this bush. A little bit of a bush party. They're going to go ahead and take out that ward up here in the top lane. And Kennon's going to go ahead and back off as this red is ripe to be stolen here by Bigetron, putting in that aggression. We have a mirror situation over on the bottom side of the map here with Russian Co going for this red buff on Bigetron's side. So a little bit of a trade here. That said, Bigetron were the ones who initiated that trade, so they are a little bit farther ahead. Actually, Hawk missing his skill shot, has to flash away, gets stunned and taken out. Uncharacteristic mistake here from Hawk. Typically, doesn't, that doesn't typically happen to Hawk, and he knew that they were in the area, so bit of a shaky start here from the side of Sengoku.
Yeah, and what I've noticed right now is BTR just mixed it up. If you're looking at the minimap, Ezreal went to the Baron lane, while Camille went in for the Dragon lane. It is unconventional, it is untraditional, but I think Ezreal going to the Baron lane means that Kennen wouldn't have the good time in just farming out the lane. It's gonna be very difficult for both of these teams, but right now in the ADC lane, we'll see how it's gonna go for, because Camille and Braum are both melee heroes against a Jhin, which is long range with a burst damage potential. And D2, I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, you see the Splash Moon there, trying to put as much pressure on as possible. There's the charm going on to the Grave. It's not going to be much coming out of it, though, because multiple members of Sengoku are already low. That is the Olaf having to get on out of there. Rush is going to bail from this fight. Splash Moon's low as well. It's about to go down, but the Braum goes down first. However, Jhin falls in exchange. That is a 1-for-1 situation at the end of the day. Looks like teams are just going to go ahead and, well, maybe not going to back off. Control wanting to get in on this fight, and Rush happy to meet him in the area. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and blind him and then get out of dodge. Gold is exactly even, so not a whole lot of advantage for either side. Okay, hold that thought for a second. There might be some sort of engage here. Harry and Control really trying to push this. You see Ezreal on the minimap coming over as well. Rush able to take that. In comes the Alistar for the knockup. Slashman there as well, but the root does not land. Harry's extremely low. Alistar's going to go ahead and get out of there. Hawk is in the picture, so too, trying to get that kill. And one last shot is able to get the kill off. I can't believe that Jhin died. Very well done by the side of Bigetron, and that is a 3-4-0. I can't 4-4-0. I can't believe that Bigetron got away with that. Multiple members extremely low. Bigetron showing what they're made of in these early team fights.
I mean, Jhin coming in from the bottom lane, from the engagement in the top lane is so far. And I think Cannon went into the bottom lane and Jhin went in for the top lane instead. It was actually a smart move. I think BTR wasn't expecting this to happen, wherein the dual lanes became switched once more, wherein Jhin was coming into the top instead. So that is extra damage potential coming in from their team. But it wasn't that great, right? The cannon was key when it comes to AoE initiations. So cannon being absent in that fight was actually very devastating to the side of BTR.
Yeah, watching that fight once more. Yeah, watching that fight once more, it was just a lot of missed opportunities there for Sengoku. The charm comes out from Hawk, and everyone assumes that the Graves is going to die. I don't think they even realize he's being charmed. They thought maybe he's like running towards them. And Graves had like 1 health left and just was walking toward them, and no one finished him off. And then straight after that, a huge ult came out from Oriana and killed 2 members at the same time. So Oriana is certainly the benefactor there in that team fight in the end. And that is really bad news if you're Sengoku, because Oriana is the one champion who can save this in this 4-man situation here for the side of Bigetron.
I think it's just the pound for pound mechanical plays coming to BTR in the top lane to put them at an advantage.
Yeah, the ult comes out here for the Camille, though. Big ult comes out from the Ezreal there, but he's not in the area, and that means that Jhin is able to finish off the Camille. Here comes the curtain call. Are they going to finish off the opponent? Sengoku is on the warpath. They're going in. They get the slow onto the last member, and down goes Ezreal. Here comes Graves to try to make it work, but he falls as well, and that is a 5-4-0 ace. Oh my goodness.
It's comeback. They're going in from the disadvantage, coming in for the top lane and back into the game once more. So now it's gonna be the 2K gold lead going to the side of Sengoku. And I think what happened there is BTR was going for 1-for-1, right? Well, Sengoku was going in for that all in. So I think it was just a matter of lacking in terms of synergy when it comes to initiations. And look at that, right? They were going in for the single targeted skills, single targeted plays against BTR in that engagement. Well, BTR was just scattering from that initiation, and that opened up for Sengoku Gaming to go for that ace.
Well, we have a potential gank here over in the top lane. Kennen potentially could be in trouble. 4 members trying to jump him onto the turret. Ult comes out from Israel as well, but he's going to go ahead and use his speed boost to get on out of there. The turret does die, and looks like Sengoku doesn't want to force this fight because they are a 3v4 situation. And Kennen alive in the end. He's going to be perfectly fine. I want to go back to that fight. I don't think that Slashman is going to die here. That fight, it was such a funny situation because it was like a combination of factors, right? First of all, the Kennen's in the fight, whereas the Camille wasn't there earlier. The second thing is multiple ults were up for Sengoku, whereas multiple ults were used for Bigetron the previous fight. So many things coming together to make that fight happen, and you can see the difference. Just positioning and a couple factors can change everything.
Absolutely. And speaking of positioning, I think we're seeing it once more as Sengoku Gaming states their dominance here into the Rift Herald, trying to go for that information against the enemy team.
Yeah, this is extremely close game thus far. Dejuo goes for the engage, and Harry is holding strong with that Braum and that shield. The Rift Herald is actually just an afterthought for both teams. They're trying to get some damage in. Big Axe comes out here from Rush and gets a bit of a damage there. Are they going to try to take this fight? Is the question at the moment for both sides. 3 members in the area. We see that 4 members here are here for Bigetron, so they could go for this fight potentially. In comes Kennen with the ult, but he's extremely low. Big ult comes up from the Braum, and that means Dejuo is going to give his life as Rush is soon to follow, tries to get as much damage as possible before he does go down. That is a big situation there for Bigetron, but on the other side of the map, Hawk is able to 1v1 against Falp on the Camille. That is one thing back for Sengoku. That said, Bigetron are not done. They're actually able to pick up the Rift Herald as well at the end of that fight. Slashmoon can't hold on to these 4. That's going to be the mid tower down. And Bigetron feeling good about themselves once more. Oh, Hawk. What, Hawk? Hawk is fearless. I will take you all on, he says. Jeez.
I think with that ult ready, he was just ready for the fight, right? If something occurs for their team. But yeah, I think that wasn't ideal at all, because you're fighting against a 4-man team coming in from BTR, and you're just soloing the enemy team. So I think that wasn't as ideal. But nevertheless, I think she has the ultimate to try and go away if ever something occurs for their side of the team. And blue team is gonna get that Rift Herald mainly because of the late response coming in from Sengoku Gaming. And once more, they're going in for that 1v4, 1v5, 2v5 situations against BTR in that Rift Herald split, which put them at the disadvantage in the lack of synergy team fights against the enemy team.
Yeah, uncharacteristic here for Sengoku. Typically, you don't see them going for objectives that they know they cannot take, right? Typically, they'll just kind of stick around in the area, maybe poke a little bit, but they'll give it up pretty soon and kind of set up their own good teamfight situation. In that situation, they really just forced the issue. Didn't realize that multiple members of Bigetron were coming. But speaking of coming, in the middle of the map here, we have potentially a skirmish going down. Both teams kind of gearing up for a fight. Dejuo clearing out those wards to make sure that they can go ahead and resume progress. But once more, the Infernal Dragon comes up. The first one did go over to Sengoku. I think we potentially missed that. Infernal Dragon does come up. We have 4 members of Bigetron trying to get started on that. 4 members, excuse me, all 5 members of Sengoku there as well. Rush potentially in trouble. There is no tower there. He has to flash on out, uses his axe to try to get away. But here comes the potential fight. Hawk comes in with the ult, gets the charm up, but he gets it onto the Braum by accident, and that means that the cannon is in trouble. Can he get out of there? No, he cannot. Dies to the Ezreal. The curtain call is popped on the bottom side of your map. The Ari goes down as well. Hawk falls to Dewa on the Ezreal, and this fight is continuing to rage on, but heavily in favor of Bigetron as they get a 4-4-0.
Yeah. I mean, it's Sengoku having to pay the price on that one. They're trying to go for that flank, and they were at an advantage when it comes to member count. right? But look at this one. They separated with each other. Camille was very smart, trying to bait out the enemy team, going in for that backside. That baited out 3 members from Sengoku Gaming, while the rest was trying to zone out the enemy team. And that put them at a 2-kill lead in that fight. And on top of all that, they were continuing to push. Jin wasn't going back, and his teammates wasn't going back. So that was continuous kills coming into the side of PTR.
Yeah, this is the most disjointed I've ever seen Sengoku game, and really not with each other in these particular team fights. But gotta give credit to Bigetron. They are handling things excellently. Really good calls on their side. Every time they see some sort of flank coming their way, they are certain to address the flank rather than have it come over to them. Taking a look at these gold counts, massive gold on the Orianna and the Ezreal, and that is proving to be the difference in these team fights as they are really bringing it over to Sengoku.
Yeah, currently it's just 6k gold lead coming in for the side of BTR at the moment. Really, really big when you're talking about money and 10 minutes and 40 seconds mark.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for Curse. Actually goes for the ult and the flash burn in order to try to get the Camille, but kind of hard to get a Camille, especially when she does have that already. She has the tower there for themselves. The Baron's potentially going to be taken. This is an awkward team. It's actually getting extremely low. Someone's going to take this Baron for sure, but it's getting flashed. And there it goes down to the Ezreal of all people. It's an extremely close team fight, but Hawk is going to fall over there. That said, Rush has taken out 2 by himself. The Alistar falls for Sengoku. At the end of the day, it looks like a 3-4-2 victory for the side of Bigetron. They do take the Baron as well, so that is pretty huge for them.
That was a bit too much for comfort. It's like the Baron hovering with 100 HP for like 3 seconds. It's too much.
Yeah, I feel like anyone could have jumped in there at any time and sniped that Baron down, but it does go the way of Bigetron. It seems like almost by accident as Ezreal just kind of incidental damage taking it down, but that does mean that they are in control for sure. And Sengoku is going to have to find a way to come back in this game. This is possibly the biggest. They're in a worse shape than last game for sure. They're down, nearly 8,000 gold. They are down the Baron. They were never down the Baron last game, so this is something that they're going to have to pull off something even greater than last game to come back from the situation.
I mean, they've proven us already from game 1 to make a comeback play, and why they can't do it once more here for game number 2. But I think it's going to be much harder at the moment since. If we're gonna look at the items, producer, can we look at the items? It's really such a struggle, considering you have the Olaf at 10k while the rest of the team, Jin at 8k. So it's gonna be very hard for that ADC position to really go for that damage against the enemy team, especially when you're at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, and Olaf, like you mentioned, Olaf had the most gold there for Sengoku, and he dies to multiple members. Good on Bigetron to take care of him, but while multiple members of Sengoku were chasing after, it looks like the top inhibitor turret went down, and it looks like Bigetron are ready to try to take this game by the throat. Top inhibitor turret, like I mentioned, already down, which means that the Nexus itself is going to be taking a little bit of damage. Only 3 turrets left here for Sengoku, and they've only destroyed 1 on the side of Bigetron. So 8-3 lead in towers. We have the Baron buff slowly slipping away, but a massive gold lead as well. Actually, more 11k gold lead for Bigetron. This is, I don't think I've ever seen Sengoku this far down. That includes last game. This is like double the lead that Bigetron had last game.
Mm-hmm. I think it's actually quite new since when I saw the item Jin, he wasn't going for that first item GA because that's typically what happens in ranked games. That's typically what happens in tournament plays. And having that nerf, sure, it wasn't as good as before, but it's still quite formidable. But I think Jin was very smart to go for that balance with the item damage.
Oh my goodness, Orianna just demolished you at the exact same time. Big plays coming out for the Orianna, and she is not done as she completely chunks down the Jin over on the top side of your map. That entire health, see Slashmoon, you see how he doesn't feel so good? That was 1 ball hitting. Orianna has massive damage here, as you can see there. The death cap providing so much of that damage as well, and she just has nearly a full build as she's completely dominating these fights right now. I don't think I would be saying this today, but I don't think Sengoku can come back from this. It's just I think they can. I think it's extremely unlikely. I give them less than 1% chance to come back from this. They have to, I think, get 2 aces in order to win this, and I just don't really see this happening. Again, I didn't expect myself to say this during the course of today's game because Sengoku so far have been so dominant.
It could also be an ace and a baron. It is a potential to punish enemy team, considering that we are in already a 15-minute mark. It's gonna be the long responding time from BTR. But nevertheless, it's gonna be very important for them. So it is a clash that may happen for death for the side of Sengoku on this match.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Sengoku need. I wonder what we're looking at. What are we looking at? I don't know. I don't know what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Hello?
I think it was 2 minutes.
Oh, it was the Oriana play. Yeah. When she just demolished you. They did use like 3 ults for that though, so it's not the worst thing. I mean, not a good thing to lose too, but at the very least, they didn't lose much. Speaking of losing a lot though, Camille is just being a bully here in this lane, and this is what we were looking for when the start of the draft. She's gonna go ahead and take down this turret. Her AG does pop, but she's gonna be able to take the temperature, which is so much pressure on them. Looks like a bit of a skirmish here around this Baron. But multiple members of Sengoku are low, and I'm not really sure if they're going to be able to take this fight. Bigetron aggress all back into the Baron. It's extremely low. Does get taken by the blue team in Bigetron, and this fight rages on. Alistair in a bit of trouble himself. He's in absolute no man's land. Olaf already goes down. AG gets popped on one of our members. Kurt's trying to do his best with the cannon to get the damage off, but he falls in the end, and that is going to be an absolute ace. And Bigetron are going to do the impossible and force a game 3. They have toppled the Giants and won game number 2.
V2. Oh my goodness, that game was amazing to see. You know what? We're going to game 3. It's time to determine on who is gonna take it all, right? Who's gonna proceed into the next bracket for the upper bracket on this